Welcome back to another video, everybody. This is Scotty, and today I am standing on a desert in the middle of the ocean as I filled in the ocean monument with my machine. And today we're going to go over it again just so everyone has a better idea of how this thing worked. It did take approximately 27 hours to fill this in and 43 shulker boxes of sand, but the end result, it is done. So let's go ahead and head over here and go over this from the beginning. Here is our sand conveyor belt that we used to move the sand. So once a block is placed here, it will push it forward. And then there is something I added in, a dropper, to give us more sand. So we have a redstone signal here. This comparator sees it and sends it this way, which we have a 2-tick, 3-tick, and a 6-tick delay here. This is long enough to keep that piston pushed forward enough so everything doesn't jam. Okay, and we fell off. Let's try again. And again, there we go. This is working on a 6-tick delay. So that way, because these flying machines here will fly that way and come back, this conveyor belt will be just about done to send the next signal. From here, we're also sending the signal up top, up here to this dropper. And this dropper here is filled with sand. Then above it, this chest is also filled with sand. So this way we would never run out. You can come in here, and if you stand on this block and if you shift and then come down here, you can just place sand forever. You just hold the button down and keep going. Basically, I just taped down my mouse button and there we went. You can't speed this up any faster. It is almost night. Let's go ahead and sleep. Yeah, so you cannot speed this up any, even though the system does work faster. But it will break it. So let's head back up top. And this hopper here is filled with sand. We have a comparator coming out of it. With this comparator from the redstone block is blocking it, so this will only send a signal when that hopper is filled. If we head up here, that is sending the signal this way to this piston here, which will pull back another piston. Because down here's a dispenser. And then here's where we had all of these shulker boxes at. So they'd load into this dispenser here and come out here. So this here's a safety mechanism so it doesn't overflow. So after it's done with that, it will send a signal this way, turning on this torch, which will send this piston forward. Which will send it up here to break a shulker. Because this piston will be back here. So that shulker will get broken. And head down into the hoppers. Then it will send another signal this way on a delay to dispense another shulker. And let's head back over here to the other side. Right down there's another comparator. There it is. So as long as the shulker has items in it, this comparator will send a signal this way, also lighting this up to trigger the system. So as soon as that shulker is empty, that torch will turn on, and then it'll start over and dispense another shulker. It's a fairly simple shulker unloader. Then let's head down here a little bit. Where can we go? Here we go. This is a good angle. So when that shulker is empty, it'll come down here to this hopper. So if it comes down to here, this comparator will see that is a non-stackable item. unlocking the hopper underneath it. So all these shulkers will come over here to this chest. And this is where all the empty shulkers went. And then here, these hoppers are from the sand return system. So sand that gets broken on the other end would come down this chain over to here. I should have had these hoppers go into this chest here directly, but originally I had them going over here. Because of all this junk here. So this junk here is actually filling up the hoppers and I was losing some sand for a little bit. So I had to quickly link it up to the top chest instead. Let's go ahead and head on over to the other side. So this is our sand return line. It comes over here and drops it down. Because as you saw in the video, the ocean monument is different heights and different parts fill up faster than others. So this here is to save sand so it didn't just get lost in the system. So as the machines brought down sand, it would drop it in, but if it was filled, it would drop it in here and these torches would break it. Like this here. So then I'd go into the hoppers would send it over here. And it'd send it up. That is done with the comparator reading the dropper. So when there's an item in there, it would send a signal to this block here. To this repeater, which is going to power this piston down here, pushing over this observer, making a clock to trigger the dropper. Let's go ahead and put some more sand in this. It doesn't matter how much sand is in there, it will stay active until that dropper is empty. And there goes the sand heading back in to restock the system so you don't run out. From here, when the block is placed, it sends a signal this way, which will then come to this observer here. Let's get that. And see, we are exactly 12 spots away. This is 11 and that's 12. That's the maximum amount that piston can push. Just to here. So this here, triggering this, will turn off this torch, which will then close this piston. And then again, we got another 12 blocks from here. And that's 11. We got the same system for each of them. And these are on slabs so it doesn't interfere with the pistons below and cause a circuit. So let's go ahead and fill this in the rest of the way. And we'll stop right here. So we repeat that all the way down here till we get to the end. So this last one, once it comes here, this observer will see it, sending a signal this way around. And this here will lock this repeater on for a second, so that way the piston goes back and forth, it doesn't send a second signal. Because pushing sand twice will jam the system. When that moves there, it would move twice and then it would never do nothing. And this hopper is here because occasionally the first piston would actually break the sand and push a block of sand all the way down. So that's here to collect it. Then here you just have repeaters sending the signals in since we can only go 15 blocks, so all the pistons fire. Let's go ahead and place our final block and show you what happens. So it pushes this. These observers see it, pushing down the observers starting the machines. And these machines just pull the sand until it finds an opening. So let's go ahead and open this up right here. So as the machines come down, they'll just drop the sand in any opening they find. Just like that. And then they come down here and they drop it in the last opening to break it all. And then the observer here sends these pistons down to bring up the other observers to send the machines back. And then if we come down here, we should see some sand getting returned. Yep, there it is. And these will go back into their docking station and not move until the next row is done. And these here are fairly simple return stations. We come up here. So when the observers down there are under those blocks, they see the sand move. They'll send a signal up here, which will turn on those pistons, sending down the observers to start the machine. So the observers will go down, and the machine starts. Because this here is a sticky piston on that side, and this side is a regular piston. The sticky piston goes on the side that you want the machine to fly. So on the top, it will go that direction. So underneath, this is the sticky piston, so that's the direction the machine's going to go. And then over here is the regular piston to push it. I mean, this is a fairly simple flying machine. I haven't found any easier ones to build. That's why I like this one and I use it all the time. Let's go look at the return station down here. So we have our obsidian block there, and then our sticky pistons up here. So once the machine comes in, the observer will send a signal to each of these sticky pistons to send the machine back. And all of these are on 4-tick delay, so that way you don't accidentally get a double signal and cause a problem. And there you go. Now that is the complete overview of how this sand pusher worked and filling in this ocean monument. This was a 60 by 60 area, and it did take approximately 27 hours to do. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.